How's it going? It's Warren Grogan here again. I've been doing some thinking heaps, Like when I was in jail, on my holiday and that, you just start to work out what's important to you and what's not, and I realised, family's pretty important, When I was away, I thought about Janine and Jaden, at least once a week, mate. At least, And when you think about people that often, mate, you realise how important they are to you. That you probably can't live without them, mate. I mean, you could, but you might not want to at the end of the day. Tell you the truth, right? I really, it was a bit of a shock when Janine told me she was knocked up. I thought, okay, I've got to do the right thing, So I sat her down and I said to her, look, I'll pay for the abortion, mate, If you want to get rid of it, I'll pay for it, And I think she was really touched by that. And I even offered to organise it, I know this tattooist up Newcastle way, and he does that sort of thing. I mean, all the best people in business diversify, mate, because that's what business is all about, If you just focus on the one thing, you go broke, mate. So he's doing tattoos, and he's also, helping women out, all for a fair and reasonable price too, mate. Heaps cheaper than going to these other clinics and that, and you don't have to walk past protesters or anything. So, I said to Janine, if you want to do it, I'm there with you all the way, honey, At that point she said to me, Warren, if you love me enough to pay for the abortion, then I reckon you'll be tops dad. And so she decided to have the kid, So, then I really had no choice but to go through with it, didn't I? Anyway, so, we had the kid, and Janine said it was the happiest day of our lives, and it kind of was, it was almost as good as the Blues winning the State of Origin, I mean, having a kid, and the other thing you got to do when you have a kid is you got to call it something, because you can't go, hey kid, so you got to give it a name, mate, You're picking a name that someone's got to have for the rest of their lives, right? Well, the kid across the road, his name's Jaden, and the two kids on the next street, their name's Jaden, and me mate and his missus, they've named their kid Jaden, and me cousin, they named their kid Jaden. So, we just, me and Janine didn't want him to feel left out at all, so, like I said, there was only one choice, mate. We called him Jaden, I mean, imagine him calling him, Barry or something if all his mates are named Jaden, He's going to feel really out of sorts with that, mate. And, I don't want the kid hating me for calling him, like, something else, So, yeah, so Jaden, Yeah, Janine, being pregnant and that, she was real good about it, She was real happy to keep working right through, I mean, she said, and look, I didn't force her, I said, if you don't want to work there, you can get a lawn mowing job or something else, and so she was happy to stay in the same job, and it worked real well. Not a lot of the girls stay working while they're pregnant, they reckon it'll harm the baby or something, but like it hasn't done our kid any harm, and look, the other good thing about that is, some blokes will pay heaps more for a woman that's knocked up, I mean, that's how sick they are out there, but, if they're going to pay it, it's better us taking the money than someone else, It's going to a good cause here, Pretty easy pregnancy all up. No real dramas, and then the actual birth was pretty good too, Like they say, it's one of the most painful things a woman can go through, mate. But I don't reckon that's true. Janine was too pissed to feel anything, we as soon as she started getting the pains, because when the baby's going to come, it's probably like those constipation pains or something, As soon as she said she's feeling that, well, I break out the bottle of Jim Beam, mate, I'll give her one of them, we're drinking Beam and Coke, and she starts to get all jolly, So then I get a bowl of Jack, mate, and we drink that, and then I drive her to the hospital, you know, and she was giggling by that stage, mate. You know, said she couldn't feel a thing. To tell you the truth, the doctors are a bit funny about it, but, you know, they've studied for so long, they don't know what the real world's like, mate. So, you know, yeah, it was a pretty easy birth, you know. I was a bit worried, actually, because he was crying heaps when he come out, you know. He's screaming his head off, actually. I thought there was something wrong with him, mate, you know. I mean, tell you the truth, I thought he was a girl because he was crying so much. And then they show me he's got his old fella there, tell me he's a boy, and that kind of worried me a bit because, you know, a boy that cries that much, mate, you know, he's got to be a pansy or something, doesn't he, you know? I mean, think about it. He's cooped up in her guts for 9 months. You think he's going to be happy to get out. You think he's going to be, hey, fresh air, mate, look at the world. No, he's crying like a bloody girl, mate. The doctor says crying's normal. I still don't believe it, mate. I don't cry. I don't cry for no one, mate. So he assures me that he's not a girl, he's not a poofter, it's normal for babies to cry. So, yeah, fatherhood, mate. What can I say? I reckon if you want to prioritise things in your life, you got to go, alright, you got to make sure you got a fridge full of beer, you got to make sure you got enough food to line your stomach before you drink the beer, and you got to make sure your missus and your kid are happy. And you know what? If the fridge is full of beer and I got enough food, I'm not going to give them a hard time, so they'll be happy. Hey, yeah, cool. Hope you're all right out there in you know, YouTube land and that. Cool.